The two-step visual technique solves more than just where to turn into a corner. It can also help with your consistency. In the end, your lines will only be as accurate and consistent as your visual skills. Knowing exactly where you want the bike to go before entering, using the two-step technique handles that. Applying the two-step technique allows the rider to gain space and time at the entry of the turn, to apex and pick up his next turn point accurately. Once you truly learn to lead with your head and eyes, you'll be able to enter all corners smoother, more accurately, and, for track riding, usually faster. It's as good as it gets. Using the two-step turn entry technique also helps combat the look-in, go-in early SRs. By training yourself in this technique, you will always be 2 visual steps ahead in every turn entrance.
Wow, what a great technique! I don't feel rushed to the turn point. I mean, at all.
No, me neither. Hey, that two-step works.
Hard braking can be both confusing and terrifying. No other control action on the bike can produce such dramatic results with so little effort. Most riders' survival reactions run wild under heavy braking. Brake technology has come a long way. These improvements give riders far more choices on how to brake. But the laws of physics still govern how hard we can use them. Brakes, just like the throttle, are lean angle sensitive. The more lean angle you use, the less you can use either of them. This brings up all kinds of questions about technique. Should I do all my braking straight up? Or should I trail the brakes into the turn? Should I brake easy at first and hard at the end, or the other way round? How about easy, then hard, and then easy again? While braking, it's easy to lose sight of the real goal. Getting your turn entry speed perfect is that goal. With that in mind, which brake pressure sequence is best? Turn entry speed errors are easiest to make when you are hard on the brakes towards the end of braking. In the fine art of braking, gradually trailing the brake off is the way to accurately find your entry speed. Straight up or trail braking, it's the exact same problem. Maintain control of your entry speed. Overbraking, SR number 7, often creates other problems like poor throttle control and extra steering corrections. Both unsettle the bike and can even cause excess wheel spin. Panic braking in the middle of turns is something we try to avoid because it stands the bike up abruptly. Unconsciously, we apply pressure to the bars to maintain our line. That additional input is one of the primary reasons for trail braking crashes. Restraining bar flutter does not let the front end follow the road, which reduces available traction even more. Despite its dangers and drawbacks, trail braking is a useful tool. Just imagine yourself leaning into a turn at 200 miles an hour with the brakes on like this. If you have to brake in a turn because of an emergency, like debris or a surprise decreasing radius, bringing the bike up as you do it is your best hope for not washing out the front end. Simultaneous braking and downshifting smooths things out and reduces distractions. This helps you get your turn entry speed right. Watch the timing of the clutch and throttle action in slow motion. Slipper clutches seem to make this unnecessary, and modern electronics will probably make it an obsolete technique someday. Too bad. It's quite fun when you get it right the old-fashioned way. Riders come up with all sorts of strange variations to solve braking and downshifting. He's downshifting first and braking later. That's unnecessary engine abuse. Use the brake first. Pads are cheap, engines are expensive. Some just downshift and don't bother to use the brakes at all. In some situations, when brakes aren't needed, that's okay. But again, pads are cheap. Letting the clutch out slowly seems to solve it for some riders, but that's just extra wear and tear on the clutch and drivetrain. Here, he's revving the motor, but the clutch release is so slow he loses all the revs from his throttle blip. Many riders use this sloppy method of downshifting. No revs at all and a slow release of the clutch. Getting too big a throttle blip over-revs the motor and causes the bike to surge forward with each gear change. Another common error is over-revving and varying the brake lever pressure from the exaggerated wrist movement. This is choppy and causes the bike to pogo. Too early downshifting uses the engine as a brake and over-revs it. Not revving the bike between shifts and inconsistent brake pressure pogos the bike up and down. Here, he's shifting and easing out the clutch slowly. That takes time and attention. He's revving it, but too high, and still on and off the brake lever, pogoing the bike. Making clean downshifts and maintaining control of the brake lever throughout will help. Letting your fingers slide over the brake lever while you control the pressure works really well. Downshifting without the clutch is another way of handling it. Careful timing of the throttle blip and the gear lever makes it surprisingly easy and smooth, with or without a slipper clutch. It may take some practice to make them perfect.